Basically, they were answering the question that nobody asked, but everyone needs to know. What if Monkey D. Luffy, that lovable idiot with a straw hat, was actually a real life person? Given requirements in our world, spoiler alert, he wouldn't be just wanted. He would FBI most wanted, the Interpol nightmare, and probably his own dedicated task force called Operation Stop This Rebel Maniac. We're talking about a kid who looked at an entire justice system and said, nah, I'd win. And then he actually did on multiple occasions. So grab your popcorn, hide in your government buildings, and let's break down exactly how many life sentences our boy Luffy would be racking up. And yes, we're calculating the actual prison time and fines because apparently I love myself. First, let's establish the baseline. Luffy's first crime was even before he even got his crew, before he even left his village, was simply declaring himself a pirate. Now, in One Piece world, that's like saying, I want to be an entrepreneur. But in our world, under the US Code Title 18, Section 1651, piracy on the high seas carries a mandatory sentence of travel, please, life in prison. That's right, episode 1, and this kid already earned a life sentence. But Luffy said, hold my meat, because it was just getting started. So the charter is piracy, and the sentence for that, imprisonment. But in Luffy's defense, he's gonna be like, I'm gonna be king of pirates. And in real life situation, the judge would be like, remove this man immediately. I don't wanna see him anymore. But there's this thing, the US justice system actually allows for death penalty for piracy in certain cases. So technically, our boy Luffy could have got the electric chair before even he fought Alveda. And folks, remember, we're just getting started. Now, let's just talk about Luffy's favorite hobby, punching people, and not just any people. Government officials, military officials, and yeah, literal royalty. Let's start with the East Blue. Captain Morgan, he got punched. Puggy the Clown, punched. Arlong, punched. Don Krieg, you guessed it, punched. Now, assault and battery in the US can get you anywhere from 1 to 20 years, depending on the severity. So let's be conservative right here and say each metal fight is for like somewhat 5 years, and just say 5 years. By the end of the East Blue alone, Luffy would be looking at 25 to 30 years in prison. Not bad, kid. Not bad. But wait, there was more. Remember Arabasta? Yeah. Remember Arabasta? Yeah. Luffy punched the crocodile. A literal warlord working with the government. That's assaulting on a federal contractor, which adds another 10 to 15 years. Skypiea, he punched the god. I don't even know what the sentencing for this, but it's not good. It's just not great. So in real life situation, the charges would be assault and battery on multiple counts. Approximately 47 instances. And 5 to 20 years for count, and we are conservatively looking at 135 to 940 years. In Luffy's defense, he's just gonna say like they are being mean to my friends, but the prosecutor is gonna be like, Your Honor, the defendant punched the god. And we haven't even got in the really illegal stuff here. We're just getting started. Okay, deep breath. Let's just talk about this moment. The moment that made everyone One Piece fan just stand up and cheer. The moment when Luffy just submitted himself as an absolute legend. He punched the Celestial Dragon. Not just anyone, Saint Charles, the despicable one. Now, in the One Piece world, Celestial Dragons are basically untouchable nobility. In our world, it's just equivalent to, let's just say, I don't know, punching member of Congress, a foreign diplomat, or the president kid. Let's just break down what Luffy would be charged with. First of all, assault on protect person. If we could St. Charles as a foreign diplomat, this alone can be up to 10 years. Second, assault causing bodily injury. We saw that, Ash. Everyone saw this. Charles went down. That's serious bodily injury. That's which is at another 10 years. Third, hate crime and harassment. Luffy especially targeted him because he was a celestial dragon. That's like reverse discrimination. I don't know, reverse discrimination, we can say about that, which adds 5 to 10 years. Yeah, not that kid. 4, inciting an international incident. Well, the world government at the time sent an admiral because of this punch. In real life this would literally trigger a full-scale diplomatic crisis. We're talking about sanctions, military involvement, CNN running 24/7 coverage with the headline, Florida man punched royalty and refuses to elaborate. Really? The total for this one punch, let's just be like conservative, like 25 to 50 years, bare minimum. The fine is getting $500 to $1 million. In real life situation, Luffy's like, yeah, he deserved it. Yeah, and we know he deserved it, but still, you just punched him badly. But in real life, this single punch probably put Luffy on every government watch list in existence. The FBI, CIA, NSA, Interpol, and probably the Secret Service all have a file on him labeled extremely dangerous. Do not approach. And loves meat. Beautiful. That is absolutely gorgeous. Alright, let's just address the elephant in the room, or should I say, the burning government flag in the room. Yeah, Enies Lobby, the arc where Luffy said, you know what, I'm just not a criminal anymore, I'm just gonna commit terrorism right now. And let me paint you a picture. Luffy and his crew, they're just kind of together. Invaded the government judicial facility, assaulted thousands of government agents, freed unwanted criminal, which is Nico Robin, destroyed an entire island, and declared the war on the world government by burning their flag. In real war terms, this is like storming the Supreme Court, parking the National Guard, freeing death for inmate, and blowing up the building, and burning the American flag on national TV. Let's just itemize those charges and see where it is going. First one, terrorism, using violence against government infrastructure to achieve political aims. Yeah, that's the textbook terrorism, baby. The sentence would be life in prison or even a death penalty if you say so. Destruction of the government property. They demolished Enies Lobby. The damage is estimated, not just say $500 million dollars. Conservative, yeah, that's just conservative. This sentence would be like 10 years in prison plus before restitution of the $500 million. Third, assaulting on a federal officer. Luffy literally fought a CP9, multiple Marines captains, and countless of soldiers, which carries sentence of 20 years per officer. It's like 200 plus years. What? Yeah. Fourth, aiding and abetting a fugitive. Yes, Nico Robin is literally a fugitive in our lore. She was wanted by the government and he broke her out. So just the same, life imprisonment or death penalty. It's just like more life sentence for them here, and he's just racking up life sentences as if right now. Sedition. Fifth is you guessed it, sedition. Declaring war on the government. That's sedition, baby. That's 20 years, That's 20 years in jail, baby. I know. In real life situation, Luffy's defense attorney would be like, Your Honor, my client was simply trying to save his friend. The prosecutor, he declared war on the entire government. But in his defense, he's like, she makes a really good coffee, that's why I saved her. And the judge would be like, that's a death penalty without a doubt. Yeah, you got a death penalty for tasting good. At this point, Luffy's sentence counter looked like a broken odometer, without approximately 4 to 5 life sentences, plus, yeah, you guessed it, 500 years, plus $500 million in fine. And guys, we're only at episode 312. He just got like 804 episodes. They commit crimes and running wild. So, after Enies Lobby, you would think that Luffy would lay low, right? Maybe take a vacation, apologize, start a full blog. Nope. My man said, I'm gonna break into the world's most secure prison, fight my way through literal hell, and break out the most dangerous criminal in history. And he did it. Let's just appreciate the sheer audacity here. Impel Down is essentially Alcatraz, Guantanamo Bay, and the ADX Lawrence combined, sitting at the bottom of the ocean, guarded by prison monsters, and the dude who can turn into a poisonous dragon. And Luffy just walked in. Well, he got smuggled in the box. But still, he got smuggled in Boa Hancock rope. But still, the crimes are infiltrating a Supermax prison, and the sentence for that is 20 years. 2. Prison break, not just escaping. He never was an inmate, just breaking in and then breaking out. And the sentence is 5 to 10 years. Third, aiding in the escape of level 6 prisoners. He freed Crocodile, an international criminal, Jinbei, a fugitive, Ivankov, a revolutionary, and hundreds of others. Each prisoner he freed is a separate count, and aiding and abetting escape, and the sentence for that is 5 to 10 years per prison. Let's just say 500 to 1,000 years at bare minimum, at literally bare minimum. Fourth, assault on prison guards. He fought Magellan, the warrior, multiple guards, and demon beasts. The sentence for that is gonna be from 50 to 100 years. 5. Destruction of prison property. Remember when he literally crashed through the ceiling with a marine battleship? That the damage for that is gonna be range from $200 to $300 million. And the sentence is 10 years plus restitution. And in total, if we gonna recap, the total damage of Impel Down is gonna be 600 to 1,200 additional years, 300 millions in fines, permanent placement on never let this person near a prison list. And Luffy's explanation is gonna be like, my brother was going to die, so I did what I just did. And if we placed it in like a real life scenario, the court is gonna be, that's a very touchy thing that you do, give him a life sentence. What kills me the most is that Luffy technically committed more crimes than Impel Down, than some actual prisoners locked up in there. Like imagine being a level 5 prisoner and this rebel teenager just run past you committing felonies like on a speed run. This is just a prison break at a world record. Okay, deep breath. we've arrived in Marineford, the Paramount War, the biggest battle in One Piece history yet, and Luffy was there in the middle of it. Now, let's just be clear, Luffy didn't start this war, but he sure as hell predicted, and in international law, there was this fun little thing called the Geneva Convention, and the laws of armed conflict. Luffy basically violated them all, like literally all of it. The charges are 1. Participating in armed conflict as unlawful combat. Luffy is not a soldier. He's just not part of any organized military. He's just a dude fighting in a war. And the status of that is enemy combatant and indefinite detention authorized. 2. Attacking military installations. Marineford is literally a marine headquarters. The sentence for that is 30 years to, you guessed it, death. 3. Treason. If we consider Luffy under the world government jurisdiction, which they do, fighting against the government in a wartime is literally a treason. And the sentence for that is death penalty, straight up death penalty. 4. Conspiracy to commit treason. He worked with Whitebeard pirates, Impel Down escapees, and revolutionary. The sentence for that is 20 years. 5. Sold a fleet admiral and warlords. He fought 3 admirals, multiple warlords, and countless vice admirals. The sentence for that is 100 plus years for assaulting on federal officers. 6. Not done yet, causing massive civilian casualties. Okay, this one is not directly his fault, but the battle caused a massive destruction. And this is gonna be like billions in damage, like literally billions. So if we sums up Marineford, the sentence for that for Luffy, multiple death penalties, 100 plus additional years, and approximately 2 to 5 billion in damage. If we apply this in a real life scenario, Luffy's statement is gonna be, I just wanted to save Ace. Host, yeah, I got nothing for that actually. That's actually hurt. But legally speaking, good intentions don't cancel out firing the entire military. Like imagine telling a judge, Your Honor, I only committed high treason because I love my brother. The judge is going to be like, that's beautiful, but that's still treason. At this point, the prosecution case file is the size of one book, and they're running out of creative ways to say life sentence. It's Now, you'd think after Marineford, after barely surviving, Luffy would learn his lessons, right? Nah, wrong. The boy came back after 2 years of training and said, time to commit more crimes. Let's just speed run through the greatest hits. Fishman Island, trespassing on sovereign territory, defeating a warlord, Holy John's right to be one, so still counts. Destroying a national monument, which is no one. The sentence for that is 30 to 130 years and $100 million. Punk Hazard, breaking into a government research facility, destroying said facility, freeing kidnapped children. Okay, this one is actually good, but it's still illegal to be there. The sentence for that is 20 years in prison plus $200 million in damage. Dressrosa, toppling government, which is the Flamingo regime, destroying the Colosseum, and the Grand Theft, the Mira fruit scenario. The sentence for that is life plus 50 years in prison, and with additional $500 million in damage. Hogek Island, invading Yonko territory, assaulted on a Big Mom, which is attempted murder of the head of state, destroying her castle, ruining the diplomatic wedding, and the sentence for that is death penalty or life, doesn't matter at this point, plus 100 years, plus $1 billion in damage. The dude really destroyed her castle. Wano country, participating in a rebellion against the sitting government. No, don't forget, Kaido is the ruler of that country. Defeating Kaido, assault on a head state, complete a regime change. And the sentence for that is straight up death penalty, like there is no sugarcoating. And plus 5 billion in damages. And post Wano, attack a war noble again, which is St. Saturn's, destroying Egghead Island facilities. And the sentence for that is multiple death penalties. The running total for the post time skip, which is 5 to 7 death penalties or the life sentences, plus additional 400 years of prison time, and more than $7 billion in fine and restitution. Fellas, at this point, the justice system has given up. They're not even calculating anymore. They just wrote kill on sight, and they just called it a day. So in conclusion, Luffy's bounty is equivalent to $30 million. The actual damage he caused is plus 10 billions. The world government is literally, and I'm not joking, is literally undercharging him. Alright folks, let's just add it all up, get your calculator ready, because we're about to crash. Excel. Monkey D. Luffy complete crime record, death penalty, eligible crimes, 12 to 15 counts including piracy, terrorism, treason, murder for royalty, life sentences, 8 to 10 consecutives, including prison break, sedition, war crimes, additional prison time, 2,000 to 3,000 years. Like, I'm not joking. We counted them all. The financial damage is between 15 to 20 billion dollars between property damage, government facility, international incidents, and fine. He racked up between 2 to 5 billion dollars. Separate number of separate charges. 200 plus years. We literally just lost count at this point. point. In real-world code, Luffy would need 47 different lawyers, legal defense funded by more than $50 million, and approximately 15 years just for the trial. A jury that somehow hasn't heard of him yet, which is something impossible, and probably witness protection for anyone who testifying against him. In real life scenario, this sentence hearing is gonna be insanely like this. Mr. Luffy, you have been found guilty on all 200 plus counts. Do you have anything to say before sentencing?
Yeah, I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
Yeah, just take him away. There's no need for him at this point. For comparison, the most wanted criminal in real life have bounty between $25 to $30 million. Luffy's bounty is 30 million, but his actual criminal liability is in the billions, literally billions of dollars. He's just not the most wanted. He's the most wanted by far. In fact, if Luffy existed in this world, he would be on every terrorist watch list. He have his own FBI task force. Well, we have multiple Netflix documentaries. He would be banned from all 47 countries and still be smiling in his mugshot. And you know, what's the crazy part is, we just love him for that, because unlike real criminals, Luffy never hurt anyone who didn't deserve it. He fought for his friends, protected the innocent, and stood up for governance. He's a criminal with the heart of gold, who also happened to have destroyed half of the world. So there you have, folks, Monkey D. Luffy, the most wanted criminal in anime, and potentially the most wanted criminal in history, if he existed in real life. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this absolutely unhinged ego analysis, hit the like button, subscribe for more anime chaos, and let me know in the comment what the other anime characters should be prosecuted next.